The landscape of South Armagh began to be formed some 350 million years ago, when, beneath a thick layer of clay, volcanic activity bubbled onto the surface. A volcanic plug pushed upwards, but did not break the surface of the clay. This volcanic activity formed Slieve Gullion and its surrounding circle of smaller hills, known as the Ring of Gullion. This ring dike, which now dominates the South Armagh countryside, was gradually revealed over millions of years of erosion by the clay, and was shaped in comparatively modern times by the scraping action of glaciers.
As the ice retreated some 10,000 years ago, man began to move northwestward from Europe in pursuit of the herds of animals that roamed the grassland plains. These peoples reached Ireland some 9,000 years ago. The climate had become warmer by that time. Trees had begun to cover the land. The great herds had become extinct, and man had become a food gatherer and fisherman rather than a hunter. These early settlers, Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age people, lived on the seashore and on the river banks and lake shores, close to their supplies of food.
About 3000 BC, new Stone Age men arrived, and they were farmers. These are the first inhabitants of the South Armagh area. They settled on the hill slopes, which were then fertile grasslands, and eventually began to use the bronze materials and built the dolmens and the other stone tombs which litter the countryside. The court cairns of Clonchigora, Anamar and Ballymacdermot, now largely stripped of their protective cairns by generations of builder scavengers, are the earliest examples.
Ballykeil Dolmen on the west side of Slieve Gullion is one of the finest classical examples of a dolmen, which formed one end of a long cairn, now stripped of its foundations. On Slieve Gullion itself are the two cairns, the north round cairn and the more elaborate south cairn, which contains a passage grave on the same plan as those found in the Boyne Valley. This is reputedly the highest Bronze Age cairn in Europe and shows evidence of a very well organised society. Before a drop in temperature about 1100 BC drove the people from the higher slopes.
The ring forts of Corliss and Lisleitrim and the Crannogs at Glasdrummond and Lisleitrim show evidence of Iron Age settlement. The mysterious Dorsey earthworks date from the time of Owen Macha and look down upon the rich cattle lands of the plain of Mullaghbane in County Louth. South Armagh was a borderland in the late Bronze Age and in the Iron Age.
And if you're ever on the top of Slieve Gullion Mountain, way over to the lake, and there you'll see two big millstones.
The mythology associated with Finn McCool, Cuchulainn, Queen Maeve, the Calyabara, and the Tyne Bo Culligna confirms the borderland image.
Finn McCool, the giant.
Battles, real or imaginary, have been fought for control of the passes into Ulster from time immemorial.
The Christian period has left its mark on the South Armagh map, with its settlements at Kilnasaggart, where the standing stone is the earliest inscribed Christian monument in all of Ireland. Killevy of St. Blinja, near the alleged site of the forge of Chulainn, the smith who named Cuchulainn. Ernie beyond Fork Hill, and Cregan near Crossmaglen. In historical times, one found South Armagh under the Gaelic laws, facing out towards the Norman Pale, represented by Castle Roach and Ballymascanlon. The two baronies of the Fuse and Orior were dominated by the O'Neills and the O'Hanlons, until expansion by the Elizabethans from the Pale came into conflict with the O'Neills of Tyrone.
By 1601, Lord Mountjoy, the English Lord Lieutenant, had gained his first foothold in Ulster, when he built Moira Castle, after defeating Hugh O'Neill in the pass below. The old monastery in the Gap of the North was dismantled to build this new castle, and the way was open to seize and plant Ulster with the new settlers. The outposts of English influence in Carlingford and Newry, which had hitherto been supplied by sea, were now united with the Pale. A changing world had begun to be felt in this remote region, and the Cromwellian and Williamite wars consolidated the hold of England over it. Resistance did not die, however. The 1641 rebellion was planned in the Crannog in Loch Ross. The MacMurphys of South Armagh fought as a body at the Boyne and at Culloden, and Redmond O'Hanlon harassed the planters in the woods and glens.